Good morning. Now we enter to yet another session of Oedipus. The last scene that we saw, Oedipus was totally worried and went to the palace. And he addressed the public in the light that he is going to see the light for the final time, means the tragedy going to happen in near future. And all people are worried, the messenger and the servant also worried, those retinue in the palace are totally worried. In between, chorus coming, as you know the function of chorus, they come. Oh, generation of mortal men, how I count your life is scarcely living. When man is there, what a human being who attains greater happiness. That is 1425, line number 1425. No human beings fall in happiness out of this type of tragedies happening in daily life. Than mere appearances, joy which seems to fade away to nothing. Poor wretched Oedipus, underline poor wretched Oedipus. What chorus telling is the real opinion of the public. The public is of the opinion that now their king is a wretched king. Your fate stands here, demonstrate for me how no mortal man is ever blessed. No mortal man is ever blessed in doing such crimes. Such crimes or such criminals will have no salvation. They won't get salvation in future. How no mortal man is blessed. How here was a man who fired his arrows well. His skill was matchless. Chorus telling our Oedipus was a man of skills, man of powerful ambition, and he had a most competence, but fell down by the fate. Or it is better to say fate defeated Oedipus. The skill was matchless. He won the highest happiness in everything. Underline, once becoming a king, all the highest happiness is with him. Just like in Epicurean philosophy that we say, dead be yesterday, unborn be tomorrow. Why fret about it today if today is sweet? Dead be yesterday, therefore the kings and queens nothing else only to eat and drink and enjoy. It is very pleasurable, see, once all the pleasures of the world that they can enjoy very easy. They are enjoying and enjoying and enjoy, eat, drink and be merry. No ordinary person can live like that. They have to suffer a lot to find the real thing in the life. But VIPs, elite class, and those people are elected, selected few. Those people who are born with golden spoons in their mouth, they can enjoy and face life in an easy manner. That is why Epicurean philosophy people say what? Eat and drink and be merry. Eat and drink and be merry, happy. What mean unborn be tomorrow, dead be yesterday, unborn be tomorrow. Why do you think about it today? Why do you think about it today? Why do you fret about it today? If today is sweet, today's pleasure is enough. Our life is ephemeral. Our life is not sure. Whether you are alive tomorrow morning or not, nobody knows. Then eat and drink and be merry. In such a condition, Oedipus was there, but now totally shattered, just like a devilish execution of power happening. Now his thoughts are frenzied. His thoughts and brain went outside his control. Now just like a storm. Oh, Tufan ki tarak. All right, he goes to palace. He was just like a Tufan. He was just like a storm. He entered to the palace. Addressing the light. Maybe the light is the final light for him. Means what? He decided 100%. He cannot control these crimes. So as a man, as a king, he already decided to make himself blind. That is what is going to happen. That is why he says, oh light, this is the final light for me in my life. This is the final light for me. Here was the man who fired his arrows well, and his skill was matchless, and he won the highest happiness in everything. Underline, whatever he does, whatever he meets, whatever he does, everything is in a happy mood, and he finds happiness, everything. For Zeus he slaughtered the hooked taloned swings, still he cryptic song. For our state he stood there like a tower against death. Oedipus stood against a tower, just like Himalayas stand like a tower to protect us from different winds and different enemies. Like that, Oedipus stands like a tower to protect Thebes. But now you know this tower broken. दुबला पतला हो गया means totally becoming feeble, totally becoming weak. What shall he do? From the moment of Oedipus who called you our king, we honored you. Oh Oedipus, we called you our king and we honored you, respected you very much. One who rules the mighty Thebes. Thebes is not an ordinary city state, it is a powerful state. All other people are afraid of Thebes and king, and you are our tower like a king. But now you become very weak. What is the matter? Oedipus have called you our king. Rule mighty Thebes, one now who is there whose story is terrible to hear. Your story, my dear Oedipus, your story, when it is communicated to the public, what will be your status? Whose life has been changed by trouble, by such ferocious agonies. You are facing now ferocious, very much cruel agonies. Your heart is broken and pierced and penetrated by different swords. And I don't think you can stand by yourself in the future, because your heart is weakened, your mind is broken. Now you have become totally weak. Such ferocious agony celebrated Oedipus, same spacious place of refuge, served you both as a child, as a father, and placed you ended a new bridegroom. You have acted like a father, you have acted like a mother, a child, and you have went to the bride, you acted like a bridegroom. He could follow with your father, planted a poor wretched man, have tolerated you in such a silence so long time, which watches everything, time is looking everything. All the years and the nights and the day are watching, where child and the parent have been joined so long. Oh child of lies, you are a child of lies. How I wish I would never seen you. Now I will like whose mouth pours for laments to tell it right. It was through you I found my life and breathed again. Then through and through you may I say it failed. Second messenger meanwhile enters. Second messenger, here we find the exodus happening. Second messenger coming. Oh, you must honor citizen of Thebes. Second messenger, in an exasperated way, he is sweating, running and reaching in the palace court and informing, oh, you most honored citizen of Thebes, what action you will hear about and see. I don't know how to explain what a scene you are going to see, what sorrows you will bear. You are the citizen of our Thebes. What have you thought that what type of sorrows you are going to bear? what type of troubles you are going to face. If natives here, you are still loyal to the house of Lepidus, I do not think the Easter and Phasis, all these are the rivers of Europe, long rivers of Europe, could cleanse the house. Underline this statement. Second messenger is of the opinion that no rivers can clean the palace. Just like Lady Macbeth telling, no perfumes of Arabia can purify my hands. In the such a way, here also, second messenger telling, no water available from two rivers from Europe. Which are the rivers? Easter and Phasis. From these rivers, water is not enough to clean, to purify the palace or the rooms and the places of palace. Why such a criminal action has been done? So people are worried, again problems coming. It conceals too much, men will highlight the worst things brought by choice and by accident. What we do ourselves brings us the most pain. Again, just like Junior Hamlet says in the Shakespeare Hamlet story or play, that once sorrows come, they do not come like a single spice, but they come like battalions. When sorrow comes in our life, they do not come single, but they come battalions, like group by group. In the same way, here also in the palace of Thebes, everyday problem. Sorrows coming in battalions. The calamities we knew about before were hard enough to bear. What can you say to make them worse? My dear second messenger, chorus leader requesting, so far so many things happened which made us very terrible. Is there anything more that you have to communicate or worsen the situation? Second messenger, how to say, I don't know how to explain. I waste no words. I don't use and spoil time. Know this, our noble Jocasta, our queen is dead, no more. Second messenger reported, our Jocasta finished. After coming to understand such criminal actions or such cursed actions, she did what? She committed suicide. That is reported by second messenger. Our Jocasta, noble Jocasta, our queen is dead. Oh my God, the poor unhappy lady, how did she die? Chorus leader asking, how did it happen? Tell me, explain. Second messenger, she killed herself, means committed suicide. You did not see it, I cannot see it, and you did not. You will spare the worst what we went on, but from what I recall of what I saw, I can report to you what I saw with my eyes, that I will report. You will learn how the poor woman suffered. She left here frantic. From the conversation between Oedipus and Jocasta, immediately after conversation, she went to the palace. That you understand, she was in a frantic mood, rushed inside, fingers, both hands clenched with her hair. She ran through the hall straight to her marriage bed, means bedroom. She went to her bedroom. She went in slamming both doors. The moment she ended, as soon as she ended, she closed the big door of the bedroom. She went slamming both doors shut behind her, crying out, lies, oh lies, oh lies. Who has been corpse now time ago? She was remembering the child of the years born many years ago, Adeline. She was in an extemporary speech, like she was making an aside that she was murmuring in the bedroom. telling her former husband lies. Oh, my dear lies, our own child became my husband, like telling and cursing and cursing. She was remembering the child of theirs born, who killed his father, who left her to conceive cursed children. Underline cursed children. After his murder, he became her husband, and after their mating, she got cursed children with the son. She lay mourning by the bed where she, poor woman, had given birth twice over. Husband from a husband, look, a husband from a husband, children from a child. Underline that. How she died after that, I don't fully know. I do not know fully what really happened, but it was reported the whole doors and the windows were closed by her in the bedroom. With a scream of Oedipus came bursting in, he would not let her see her suffering. Though Oedipus came to the bedroom, she did not open the bedroom. It was such a strong bedroom door that Oedipus could not open. And she was murmuring and doing like a mad woman inside the bedroom. He would not. We watched him charge around back and forth as he moved. He kept us asking us to give him a sword. Meanwhile, the moment he could not open the door, Oedipus demanded a sword from us. Sword, a very big dagger-like sword. As he moved and kept us, and he tried to find a wife who was not a wife, whose mothers whom had given birth to him and his children. He raved, some immortal power led him on. No human room came close to him. With a dreadful, as if someone had pushed him, he left the double doors, bent the bolts by force, and the sockets burst into the room. Then we saw her. Somehow he opened the door and he entered the bedroom, followed by us. We also entered. Now we saw Jocasta was hanging there. She was hanging, swaying with a twisted cord wrapped around her neck. She was hanging with a rope inside the bedroom. When Oedipus saw her with a dreadful groan, he took her body out of the noose in which she hung in a hook, in a noose. Her body was hung, and he untied her and lied on the bed. Then when the poor woman was lying on the ground, what happened next was a horrible sight. Underline. Followed by this grievous, serious situation, there was another sight happen, that which also horrible. What happened? From her clothes he ripped the golden brooches. There were some golden brooches on her dress because she had been wearing the attire of royal family. So he took the brooches, probably the golden brooches. She wore her ornaments, raised them high, and drove them deep into his eyeballs. This scene Oedipus cannot tolerate. So the brooch he untied from her dress, and it was used to make him blind himself. He forcefully thrashed into the eyeballs and becoming blind. Crying, so you will no longer see all these atrocious things I suffered. He was smashing and throwing the nooses or brooches to the eyeballs, telling and declaring, oh my eyes, that you should not see such atrocious deeds. My dreadful things I did. You have seen, those never should have looked upon, those I wish to know that you would see. So now for all future time in the dark. With the words he raised his hands and struck not once, not many, right in sockets. With every blow, blood spurted from his eyes. When he used or stabbed with these brooches, all right, on his eyes, the blood was swirling, or blood was coming like a riverbed. It was coming in a forceful manner, that which nobody could control. Such a serious punishment he took. So Jocasta committed suicide. On the one hand, our Oedipus, he himself made him blind with this is such a scene that he cannot tolerate. That was the scene with every blood spurted from his eyes. His eyes were swollen and blood was oozing, spurting and oozing in a uncontrollable way down his beard. Not single drops, but showers of dark blood spattered like a hail. It was coming like a river water. I mean, it was passing through his beard and coming to the chest and falling down to the floor. So these two have done has overwhelmed not one alone. This disaster swallows up a man and a wife together. So this disaster, what they have been developing, the disaster ultimately finished these two people. This King Oedipus cannot rule our country in his blindness. So everything doomed to the fate. The old happiness they had before their rich ancestry, what a happiness they had been enjoying here in the world with all worldly powers and pleasures they have been enjoying. Now what is the matter? Everything spoiled, dead and gone. Everything is gone. The truly joy, how the lament and the ruin, death and shame. Now, one time death has happened. On the other hand, a shameful matter happened. All calamities which man can name are theirs to keep. All the men who live in this world in Thebes till their end will reiterate this story to the futurity or to the future posterity, to the future people, that it was happened so once upon a time there was a king and it was his name Oedipus, and Oedipus had a complex, and Oedipus had a relation, and Oedipus had to suffer a lot. Ultimately he became a blind. Ultimately Jocasta committed suicide. Wherever till the moment, wherever the posterity happening, future generation happening, they would be asking what question? What was the story of Oedipus? Such a fate people of Thebes have to face and tell the public. Chorus leader. This time chorus leader, and has that suffering man found some relief to ease his pain? All right, is there any physician or doctors in the palace to look at the eyes of Oedipus, or any peaceful or any to anything to do for comforting him? Second messenger, he shouts at everyone after doing this bloody action. He was shouting like a madman to open up the gates and thus reveal to Cadmalians his father's killer, his mother's husband. And immediately after becoming blind with oozing ear, with oozing eyes, with blood and all that, he was shouting like a madman coming out of the palace. And what was mission he wanted to tell the public? All right, I am the killer of my father and the husband of my mother. She has become almost 99% mad and insane, but must not see the words. He wants them to cast him out of the Thebes. He also wants to go out of this country, Thebes. He does not want to remain here. He wants to go out of Thebes. So the curse he laid will not come on this house if he still lives inside. He believes that if he continues to be a king here, this palace and the country will get so many curses in future. So he wants to go exile. He wants to go out of the country. But he is weak. He needs someone to lead him on his way. He is very weak. He cannot walk. So he needs somebody's help. His agony is more than he can bear. He will show you, for the palace doors, the bolts are being pulled back. Now you can see he is coming. Now doors of the palace are now going to open. Alright, soon you will see sight which even a man filled with disgust would have to pity. Nobody but everybody has to pity on him, because this is a terrible condition of a man ever born in the world. So this is the condition of a king who is taking the noble birth, has become waste, and now he became fallen, just like in a Catholic manner. So this Oedipus story now going to again reported, now with bleeding eyes and in a desperate and lunatic manner. Now our Oedipus enters, chorus leader again addressing. Oedipus enters through the palace doors. Now palace doors are open. This time chorus leader and all others are very wonderfully looking at Oedipus, and Oedipus coming in a frantic mood to address the public. What is his mission? What he is going to talk to the public? What he is going to do next? We will see in the next class. Till that moment, thank you very much.